Hello. How's everybody doing on this fine Tuesday? Someone sent me this case. I believe it was uh, last night or this morning, and man, a lot of details are just breaking. So, but I want to go ahead and share. Get it out there. It's a pretty crazy. 7 people, 7 bodies were found. The 2 missing girls, Ivy and Brittany, and also piece of crap, Jesse McFadden, who was actually due in court the day that the bodies were found for, guess what? Child porn. And so I'm going to read an article. I don't have much. Like I said, it's just like breaking. The case is still breaking. 4 are unidentified as of right now, even though the articles does say there were um, 4 members of his family at this place. And yeah, this is an Oklahoma case, Muskegon, if I'm saying that right. But hey, Melissa. Hey, Angel Bear. Hey, I love marbles. Hey, Chris. Hey, Polly. True Crime Recliner. Good to see you here, buddy. Yeah, it's a puzzling one. So it'll be interesting as all the facts start to come out. Oh, audio's a little low. Is that a little bit better? Or make sure it's my actual mic picking up and not the computer. No, it's just in ponytail. I need to cut it off. I'm sick of it. How's the sound now, guys? A little better? It's weird. Same sound I always use. I'm going to scoot up a little bit. Hey, Grandma Sherry. How's that? Any better? Oh, TV might be a little bit different. Everybody hear me okay? Okay. Thank you, Lake. Good to see you here. Hey, Southern Lady. I think I said hi to Grandma Sherry. Willie D, what's up, dude? Yeah, this one, Lori, hi. Good to see you. Yeah, this one was sent to me this morning. Well, I read it this morning, and it just, you know, like, that's crazy. This world, I tell you. Hey, Jack. Thanks for being here, man. Um, all right. So let me jump into this article here. We'll try that one. Yeah, this is what I'm showing right now is what I was working on for today. What is going on here? Good news. You've been selected to be one of the first few to test new AI features. Oh, well, I don't think so. But Jill Bierman is the one that I had planned to do today. Um, the case, uh, more so in the how it played out in the media and the judicial system. Um, I find it to be this is a closed case. Jill Bierman, like it's a closed case. Her The perpetrator of the crime is in prison, but the similarities that I see going on with Delphi as it's playing out now in the judicial system really reminds me a lot of this Jill Bierman case. And so I want to be able to take a look at this case in review so that we can really kind of gauge and have a little bit of hope for the alleged murder of Abigail Williams and Liberty German, the alleged killer of them, which is Richard Allen. He's been charged with 2 counts of murder. And there's just a lot of little things that are very similar once you get into the prosecutorial events, the way that things were kept from the media, and you see the media like petitioning the court for more information, and just the way that everything played out, the evidence that they had against him, which was a lot based on witnesses. And so this was my plan, but this case, because it is breaking, and I want to cover it because it just, like what is going on here. So I'm gonna do this one maybe sometime this week. But I think you guys will appreciate it because it'll give us kind of an understanding of what is happening and what is going to happen, and the potentials of the trial, potential trial for Richard Allen. Okay, search for 2 missing teen girls led cops to 7 bodies in Oklahoma. 7 bodies were found on an Oklahoma property as authorities search for 2 missing teens on Monday. Ivy Webster, 14, and Brittany Brewer, 16, were reported missing Monday near Henrietta. Their bodies were among the dead, police told Tulsa CBS affiliate KOTV. The 2 girls were traveling with a 39-year-old man, Jesse McFadden, when they were last seen alive. Tulsa Fox affiliate KOKI reported their bodies were found on McFadden's property, according to police. McFadden was also among the dead, cops told KOTV. There they are. This is Ivy Webster, Nasty, Jesse McFadden, and Brittany Brewer. The other 4 bodies have not been publicly identified. McFadden lived with 4 immediate family members, his wife Holly, and their 3 daughters, according to KOKI. Police told Webster's mother that 2 adults and 5 children were found dead. So do the math on that. 2 adults, more than likely, is Holly and Jesse McFadden. They had 3 daughters, and there's also the 2 missing girls, Ivy and Brittany. And my computer is about to die because it will not stay charged for nothing. So I gotta plug it in really quick. End up with like so many cords here. So many cords. Okay. In 2004, McFadden was sentenced to 20 years in prison after he was convicted of first-degree rape, according to prison records. He was released on October of 2020 after serving 16 years. McFadden was scheduled to stand trial on Monday when they went missing and on one count of soliciting child porn. So here he's committed this. He gets out in 2020, and sometime in between 2020 and 2023, he is caught soliciting child pornography. So he was clearly out on bond during this horrific 7-person murder. I mean, I don't think it takes a rocket science to jump to the conclusion that he probably killed himself after he killed his whole family and these 2 little girls. I thought there was to get to another one. I never know which. I see other people playing like news clips and they don't get copyrights, but I swear every time I do, I get a copyright, which makes your video, it can't like generate any income. So if you have and you like the content, please consider super chats. Ask me for my Cash App. I have that now, and Facebook Pay. Okay, so this is the father of one of the children. Commercial. Hey, CJ. Can you guys hear it?
It's your journey. Own every mile in the Hyundai Tucson with America.
Can you hear okay?
It hasn't sunk in yet. I still think she's going to walk in right behind me or walk up next to me. It still hasn't sunken in that she...
I just want to make sure you guys can hear it. Can you hear the video I'm playing right now? Okay. Thank you, Lake.
Brittany Brewer's father mourning the loss of his daughter.
I'm just lost. I still... It hasn't sunk in yet. I still think she's going to walk in right behind me or walk up next to me. It still hasn't sunken in that she's gone.
And her siblings now mourning the loss of their sister.
They're just taking it really tough and hard. I mean, they're just... words can't describe.
Community members, students, and families gathered Monday to remember and pray for all the victims involved in the Henrietta tragedy. The victims' classmates ending the school year without them.
I knew Ivy really well. She was a great person. Great personality.
Ivy's brother spoke to us after the vigil, a devastating void now in the Webster family.
A lot of crying, really sad. I mean, only daughter in a house full of boys, so obviously my mom's super upset.
The tragedy, a shock to the community and a heartbreak to the families that can't be understood.
Horrible. Truly tragic, especially because we've known this family for like 2 years now.
But Brewer says the families are finding a sense of healing from the community.
And Oklahoma's come together.
So he said that they've known the families for 2 years. I'm not sure which families he was talking about, whether it was McFadden or the friend.
God's got us in Oklahomans, and we'll get through this. It's just another tragedy, and we'll get through it.
So sad.
This isn't Sherman. No wonder I don't feel as clean.
Hurry up, Dad. You've been in
Come
there forever.
But there was a press conference. I have got to get a new computer. This computer's driving me nuts. Literally shows a video right here. What is the deal? Here we go. Another ad. Hey, Hoosier. Hey, LA. Hey, Kaleidoscope. Nope.
Evidence goes, people recovering information, as far as evidence goes, and just the course of the investigation. Because again, this is a very fluid investigation going on. So that's just what's going on right now.
Was there a note or anything left behind?
I don't know anything about a note. Don't know anything like that.
Could you be more detailed about exactly where on the land they were found?
Just on the property, just not in the residence, but just on the property. But that's about as detailed as we can get right now.
Is there any other information you can relay?
Not really, because one, we're not going to say anything that's going to jeopardize any investigation, and we're just it's going to be very vague on some things, and that's just the nature of what's going on right now.
Have you guys been in communication with loved ones?
They have been.
Can you say how long the bodies were there?
No, I cannot say how long they've been there.
Is the suspect one of the bodies?
I can't say that either. Again, that's the medical examiner's responsibility to identify them.
Is this considered a homicide investigation?
It would be considered a homicide, yes.
Are you able to talk about the search and how you guys ended up at this property?
Well, no, that on the Violent Crimes Task Force, or how?
Just what led your task force to get here to this property to find our victims?
I don't know. I'd have to get that information. I have to get back with you on that and them to believe that.
Is this being investigated as a murder-suicide?
I can't comment on that. I don't know. There's 7 individuals who are deceased, and again,
this isn't the one. I don't know who this cat is, but
how would you
probably the mayor.
With anything.
There was one with the sheriff that was
You're not looking for someone.
more informative. Yeah, this is getting on my nerves that I can't find the video.
Apologies, the problems there with the audio, folks. Uh, uh, but let's break down what we know about this story. A missing persons advisory went out earlier today from the Oklahoma Highway Patrol. This is a story that has been developing over the course of the day in Oklahoma, causing a lot of fear, a lot of worry, with a whole lot of people, an entire community looking for two missing young girls. Those girls by the names of Ivy Webster, 14 years old, and 16-year-old Brittany Brewer. They were last seen Monday morning, so this morning, 1:22 a.m. in Henrietta, Oklahoma. So the alert went out, and the alert went out also to be on the lookout for a potential person of interest, as well as a vehicle, a white Chevy Avalanche with an Oklahoma tag. And now we have the report coming out of Okmulgee County, Oklahoma, that the bodies of 7 people have been found on this property in Henrietta, Oklahoma. A search warrant was executed at this property at about 3 o'clock local time today, and they discovered the bodies of 7 people. Among the 7, now, the medical examiner's office has to confirm the identities, but a preliminary confirmation, if you will, very preliminary confirmation has been put out by the Okmulgee County Sheriff's Office to local media, and they say that the bodies of the 2 girls, Ivy and Brittany, were located on this property, as well as the body of James McFadden, a 39-year-old who did serve prison time for rape. And the bodies of 4 other people. The 4 other people who were found dead on this property, we don't know if it's recent. We don't know if the bodies had been there for some time. You can see here from the chopper signal that there is some blue tarp on the ground that is usually put out, of course, by authorities to preserve evidence, as well as to prevent any news helicopters or any news cameras in the area from getting line of sight. Of course, family members could be watching, and those family members might be living through their very worst nightmare today, as we get news again that a total of 7 bodies have been found on this property in Henrietta, including those of 2 missing Oklahoma teens. Those names again are Brittany Brewer and Ivy Webster. In fact, I think I have some photos loaded up here for you. This is a very low-res photo of Brittany Brewer, 16 years old. And then I believe we have another photo.
So it seems like one of these 2 girls was in contact with this McFadden, which also of note, he was using a prison cell phone to contact underage minors while in prison.
Let's see here.
Why do they ever let them out?
Brittany, and then we might also have by the Okmulgee County Sheriff's Office out of Oklahoma, 14-year-old Ivy Webster, 16-year-old Brittany Brewer. They were last seen Monday morning at 1:22 a.m. According to the Okmulgee County Sheriff's Office, Webster was supposed to return home by 5 o'clock p.m. yesterday, that being Sunday, after spending the weekend with a friend, but didn't make it home. Or, didn't show up. There's a clear difference there. Webster was reported to be staying with a Holly McFadden, her daughter, and Jesse McFadden. It was thought the group went to a ranch in McAllister, but the sheriff's office says that that didn't in fact happen. Investigators also say that at some point, Brittany Brewer was picked up Saturday night by this group. Ivy Webster was last seen wearing a black Vans hoodie, blue jeans with large holes at the knee, and of those found. But the sheriff's office said that they executed a search warrant, and that's when they discovered the bodies. So that brings us to where we are with what is a just terrifying story. I believe that we have a reporter now that is standing by. Let's see if we can bring in his feed. He is, I think, preparing for a live report. So we'll try to come back to that if we can in just a moment. That's from KFOR, our sister station.
Pretty,
in Oklahoma. So again, apologies everybody for the technical difficulties at the beginning of this live stream. If you're still hanging out with us, we really appreciate that.
Pretty rural.
My audio was muted somewhere between us and getting out to you, and I don't know where it was muted. I was under the impression that...
Yeah, we don't care about your muted mic.
And looking for anything else of note. Again, this is not live. This is no longer live. This was live about an hour ago. And we got word that this was all developing, and by the time that we got up on the live stream, they had ended their live feed. The chopper had to go down, refuel. However, now that we have the video re-queued, we can look at
a big piece of property.
Ollie's daughter and a Jesse McFadden. It was thought that the group went to a ranch in McAllister, but the sheriff's office says that that did not happen. Investigators say also at some point that Brittany Brewer, one of the missing girls, the missing 16-year-old, was picked up Saturday night by the group.
Crazy.
So we don't know if the other bodies belong to anybody else connected to this story, notably a Holly McFadden and her daughter. We also don't know the relationship that Holly McFadden has with Jesse McFadden, whether they are siblings or cousins or husband and wife. We don't know. 3
daughters, though, is what that other one said.
We're waiting, of course, on his live report. Let's see. I have another feed here. We're going to try. What you'll find is a different.
I'm glad I'm not the only one.
Town reporting
unorganized.
Different set, or not different, but maybe additional information that other stations don't have. So I'm looking here now at. Let's see. This is KTUL. That's the NBC station in Tulsa. And they are reporting that it is Jesse McFadden's property. And so, go here to Tristan. So Tristan was the one who pointed out that KTUL is reporting that that is McFadden's property. And that is indeed correct. That KTUL, the
Oklahoma's News 4.
OF
Around 3 p.m.
in Tulsa. Lot going on. Here, let's pay attention here.
Of what we've been learning from the Okmulgee County Sheriff, they say 7 bodies were found here today on this property just a few miles east of Central Henrietta on Holly Road. They say that they came here to execute a search warrant around 3 p.m. and that's when they found these bodies. Now, 2 of those 7 bodies are believed to be 14-year-old Ivy Webster and 16-year-old Brittany Brewer, who have been missing since about 1:30 this morning. But the medical examiner says that they are actively working to confirm the identity of all the bodies found here today. The 2 missing girls were believed to be with James McFadden when they disappeared. McFadden being a registered sex offender who has been convicted of a rape conviction in the past. We're told by authorities that this scene, this property right here, that of McFadden's. Now, there are a lot of law enforcement here in the scene. They're going to be actively investigating, I'm sure, for many more hours. We're told that
both last seen Jesse, I can't read the full.
I hope is that they're going to show the
and the
sheriff's
killer.
No, I can't with that guy.
These ages, things like that.
I don't know who he is,
and
but he's not very well spoken. So maybe I'll give him a chance another day.
Spend a few minutes just reading some.
Marco. Oh, geez. Why did I do that? I'm never going to be able to find it again. Look at all these tabs I got open. Oh, I did.
You're not. Okay.
He's a get. Let's go.
Found. Let's go there now.
Are we streaming?
Yes. Okay, we good? You're not.
Sorry.
Okay. All right. Jesus. Sorry, Lee.
Is there a let you know we're live on 6 right now?
We're live.
Approximately at 1500 hours, we arrived out here with a search warrant. We've searched the property and we've located 7 bodies that we are in the process of trying to get the ME to be able to confirm identities of these individuals that were found. We're not going to discuss any of the facts of the case or anything like that, but we are no longer looking. We believe to have found everything that we were seeking this morning. Our hearts go out to the families and friends, schoolmates, and everyone else, and it's just a tragedy in Okmulgee County.
Can you tell us where they were found on the property?
We're not going to disclose anything, but, we've been tramping around, so.
And Okmulgee County Sheriff Rice, when you say you found everything that you're looking for, are you insinuating that we're no longer looking for these juveniles?
We believe that we have found the persons. We just are waiting for confirmation.
So all the missing people.
Yes.
Does that include McFadden? Does that include McFadden?
Yes. Though, again, we cannot confirm anybody until the ME's office comes back and confirms all of them. So,
Sheriff, do you have any idea what led to this?
we have no idea at this time. We're still conducting an investigation. We're still following up the leads. Still doing everything that we can just in case there's something that is left open. We don't want to miss anything, so everybody's still actively going. I want to thank the Violent Crime Task Force, the DA's office, Sheriff's Department, Henrietta PD, Okmulgee PD, OSBI, and all the other entities that come out here and assisting with this. So, again, it's a tragic day in Okmulgee County again, and we just ask that you pray for the families.
At this point, are these deaths considered foul play?
Any unattended death is foul play, so again, we don't want to speculate. We're just going to wait until we find out what all the facts are and everybody's identified.
Is there any wounds on these bodies that we can...
We can't go into any of that at this time. OSBI is going to be a spokesperson after this point, after this notification that I'm doing now, and then he will reach out to the media.
Would you consider this a homicide investigation?
Yes, any unattended death is a homicide.
Sheriff, was the brake finding this vehicle over here across the road?
No, sir.
Was it, you got a search warrant to go in here?
Yes.
Was that when had you discovered anything before this? You got a search warrant, went over there and looked?
We had to wait on the search warrant to go and look. We follow the statutes around here, so just covering our bases and going in proper like we're supposed to.
Have any weapons been recovered?
We're not going to discuss any of the details. We're just sticking to, what we have right now.
What was your knowledge of?
Sir?
Have the families been notified?
Yes, or we wouldn't be doing the notification to y'all. But the families have been notified.
Sheriff, can you talk about who else was involved? When initially we were looking for 4 to 5 people, were there other people reported missing?
There were other family members related to the one family.
Can you say how many of these 7 are juveniles?
No, I can't at this time.
There's no ongoing threat to the public. Everything's contained right here.
That is correct, sir. We believe that there's no other threat to the community, and we will notify if we believe that anything else has change that.
Sheriff, can you talk about the impact this has obviously on you as a community member, on your agency, on your deputies?
The family's first, our community's second. You know, my guy is third, and I'm the last person that needs to be worried about. So,
Sheriff, you've been sheriff here in Okmulgee County for decades. I mean, has this county ever seen anything like this?
not this magnitude, no. We've had our share of troubles and woes, but this one's pretty bad.
What did you know about Jesse McFadden prior to any involvement today at this property?
Not going to get into any details. I mean, there's facts out there. You can back those up 100% if you need to. We'll share more in the future, but there was nothing that alarmed us. I mean, so.
How will your office and the community, come together for something like this? How about the days ahead? Any type of...
Our guys won't be done for a week. There's just still a lot to do. So our days are surrounded with typing and warrants and following through, and they won't get to think about things for a while.
Is there any idea as to how long these bodies have been on the property?
No. They haven't been missing for long, eh? So, anyway, I want to thank y'all very much for coming out. I appreciate y'all respecting the family. And please, still be respectful. They have a lot of grief. Thank y'all.
Yeah. So sad. Yeah. Thank you, Kingdom Mindem. Yeah. Hey, Ralph. How are you doing? It appears so. The one family that reported their daughter, one of the two missing, I believe it was Brewer's family. They said that she was supposed to be kind of spending like a long weekend with friends, and then when she did not return when she was supposed to, that's when they immediately called the sheriff's department, called the police, and reported her missing. And then, this all has kind of happened in a very short amount of time. But, this McFadden is a real piece of shit. So, it's not, I don't know. I kind of feel like it's a... All right, let me try one more time. Hold on. All right. LA's going to join me, but he's not seeing the email. See if he has any insight on, how these investigations go. Obviously, they can make, what would you call that? Like informal identifications, which is what they have done for the two girls, assuming that is because,
What's up? Oh my God, man, you understand that though.
Huh?
I wish you get head.
No. Am I echoing or something?
Yes, ma'am. Always.
I don't look good in headphones, Let me do this one thing and see if it helps.
I'm gonna send you headphones.
I'm not gonna wear them.
Yes, you will. Yes, you will.
Is that any better?
Let me see.
Is that any better? Better, better, better.
Kinda. I'm gonna send you headphones. That's good.
I have a pair. They're
Yeah.
hideous. They're like lime green, and they're uncomfortable.
I'm gonna send you a good pair now.
I think that if you take your headphones off, then we'll be okay.
No, ma'am.
Mhm. Yeah,
No. No. I mean, I
that's
don't,
how it works.
no, it doesn't.
I think so. See, Ralph says sounds great. No echoing here.
That's because Ralph.
Thank you, Ruckus. Oh my goodness, silly. It's okay, Ruck. I mean, I would have too if I got a big 50 right after two little fives by me and Mama.
Oh, he kissing ass.
Hey, Kitty. Man, some of these YouTube like names, I love them. Like people are
Funny.
very imaginative. Hey, Aspen, good
What
to
made
see
you come
you.
up with
Miss you,
Cold
dude.
Truth?
What?
Your name. How did you get yours?
I didn't want to be. I didn't want it to have crime in it at all, or like true crime. Like everybody does that. But
Hmm.
Cold Truth is just. I started like I wanted it. It was going to be covering cold cases, so I had like a little jingle.
Really?
Yeah.
Can I hear it?
Well, I had a podcast first. You got to remember. So I had like an intro.
Can I hear it?
Well, I can say it.
Go ahead.
The case is cold, and the truth is subjective to the individual. Oh, I forgot.
Oh my god.
Perceptions of those involved, something like that.
You got to have a hip hop one.
I am not law enforcement. I am not a prosecutor, and I'm not a judge. I want to bring awareness and help the families in any way that I can. Something like that.
That was gay.
Well, whatever.
You got to have a hip hop one.
Listen, I'm trying to get Grizz to help me out, but he's got like a long list before me, I think.
He works fast.
So what do you think's going on in this this case here? This
To be honest, I don't even know. I heard a little bit of what you were saying. It sounded like it's just all completely jacked up.
Yeah.
7 little girls. You say it was 7 girls?
No, it was 7 bodies were found. That the one article said 5 minors and 2 adults. So it also said that this piece of shit McFadden was living there with Kelly and their 3 children, and then obviously with Ivy and Brittany. That's 5 children dead, and then 2 adults. So it kind of makes sense that it would be he killed his family, probably brought these. This is just my speculation. Don't take this to the bank or anything, but he probably killed his family, convinced these 2 young girls to meet up with him, fucking nasty ass, and took him there, and he killed them too, probably after doing horrendous things to him just based on his record, past behavior, even though people just do not want to believe it. I don't know why. It's psychology 101. Past behavior predicts future behavior. So he gets out in 2020. He's already reoffended, and he's supposed to go to court the day that this happened. And so,
So you don't think people can be rehabilitated?
No, sir.
Really?
No, I do not.
Oh, okay. For no crime or just especially
Not for,
sex crimes?
I mean, for, there's plenty of crimes out there that I do think people can be rehabilitated for, but not crimes against children. Absolutely not.
That term rehabilitated is a crazy term. Think about it.
It is.
It just means I don't know. Don't it sound gross? Like just a gross term?
Well, it's just like, like I had to go to rehab for when I had surgery on my elbow, and I was rehabilitated. to where I could have more function in it and all that, but like to rehabilitate someone's mind when it's that depraved, I don't think it's possible.
I just don't know about the
And
time.
I think it was, who was telling us? Was it Mama telling us that in, I think it's Florida, they have upped the like it's punishable by death now, crimes against children, which I think that's that should be statewide.
So you definitely agree with that.
Oh yeah, I absolutely do. Death penalty, anyone that children are, they don't have any defense against adults, and most of the time these children are hurt by the people that are supposed to love them the most in this world, and they're also victimized by predators and murdered and all kinds of other atrocious things, and the penalties are not high enough. Just simply are not high enough. I don't give. I mean, I know there's a drug problem. I don't give two shits about drug dealers, and they give them the most time. Like give the pedophiles the most time. But the thing is pedophiles cost more.
I mean,
You should see it, LA, in Indiana. Like when you look up these cases, it's just sickening to see that someone could do. Like I had a neighbor. He creeped me out. I was just like, something ain't right. He brought his son over to meet us, but it was real weird. The son's like hiding behind, the garage of our house. He did not want to meet us at all. And so I kept looking him up. I was driving. My brother was like, just stop. Like, there's nothing on him. And I was looking on Watchdog, which is where you can look up offenders. And he wasn't on there. Well, my brother was at work and someone was talking about like the, counties and like sheriff's departments and each county have registered sex offenders list. So he looks him up. They're sure as shit. There he is. I got friends in the department. So they let me know what he did. He raped his own daughter.
Oh my God.
A 5-year-old daughter. And he was caught in the middle of it by two people, his mother and his wife at the time. So he moves in next to us, and a little time goes by. He's there with a girlfriend who has a very young daughter, and then this son that wasn't his at all. He had no rights to those children at all. He was a live-in boyfriend. So in the wintertime, it's snowing, right? And my brother's leaving for work and he comes back in and he's like, you gotta come see this. There was literally prints from that prick's front door all the way around through our back gate, all the way to the other side of our house to my child's windows.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And back, like in the snow, call the cops. They couldn't really do anything. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, well, I can. The whole town is going to know that this mofo is living right here, and I'm buying a sign and I'm putting it out front. Child rapist next door, and and they were like, ma'am, if you do that, he can sue you, and you can't, you shouldn't do that. Like, you can, but it's not going to go well for you. Mind you, we lived in the middle, like our house was literally in the middle of all, like at that time, I think there was 6 schools in Brownsburg. We lived in the middle of all of them.
Was he supposed to be that close to kids?
Exactly. That's what I said. And then, I go to parent teacher night. And we're standing there and talking to some of the teachers. I mean, I know people there, grew up there pretty much my whole life. And in walks this bastard with that little girl on his shoulders and into the school building. And I flipped out. They got the principal of the school. I sat in her office and I told her exactly what I thought. And she was like, well, there isn't anything we could do. It's an open night. And I'm like,
What? I thought he can't be around. I'm so damn discombobulated. How can he be around kids then? Like it should be
exactly.
a
And
court
that was the
order.
thing is like, well, he has a right to be here because his children go here. And I'm like, oh
They're
no,
not his kids,
they
right?
are not his children. He has no right to be in this building. I know the laws. Like he needs to get out of here. And I don't feel safe sending my kid here if you're telling me that kids that are not even his stepkids are allowed. What if he comes to lunch here? Like, and my daughters go to school here. This is absolutely absurd. He has no rights, in my opinion. And so, literally, and then I, of course, went to social media because you know how I am. When something pisses me off, I'm a pitbull. And yeah, they changed for Brownsburg schools, they changed the way that the rules and regulations were written to keep him out. And this is the greatest part. Like this is the part that really pissed me off. So they decided to move because now everybody knows who he is and what he's done. And the girlfriend, as they're moving out, she flipped me off every time she went outside to put something in their car. Like she was so pissed at me. Like you're with a child rapist and you have a little girl. Like the school called CPS as well. It was just nuts. Hey Sleuth, good to see you.
Don't you think it's always weird when women get with those type of men?
Yeah, like
Like that,
what the hell?
it happens a lot. Like you see a lot of women. Ruckus old ass can be attest to this. So you see a lot of women who are attracted. Not a lot. I don't want to say a lot because that'll be a lie. You'll see women that are attracted to these men who have murdered other women, who have
Yeah.
raped a lot of women, and you sit there and wonder what the hell. And they send these dudes letters
Yeah.
in jail,
Yeah.
and I
It's called
always wonder.
hybristophilia is what it's called.
You would know the term, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You would know the term. And that always was like, always used to make me wonder what the fuck was on these chicks' mind.
And half of them don't even look, and that's why the statistics for, in divorced homes and for those children, the statistics go way up when you move in a boyfriend or a lover
Mhm.
into your home with your children. The statistics they go way, way up for those children being victimized by that person. And the thing is like most people don't do the simplest thing, like look him up, like do a Google search, check, like you can call your local sheriff's department and inquire. You can do background checks. They're not that expensive. Like look
Do
them
you
up in the
think?
court cases at least.
Do you think um, these women care? Because this is the thing. We all know, right? We all get a little spidey sense when something isn't right about somebody.
Mhm.
A lot of times we ignore it. It happens with couples all the time. It happens with men and women alike. Sometimes it seems to me that it happens more so with women because women seem to ignore certain signs when it comes to guys that they like. But even do you think they do it because they don't want to know, or they just don't care?
Both.
Okay.
Both. I mean, it's so disturbing that women put men above their children. Like I was telling you last night about that hoe that was like, you know, well, I know you said that you don't want to date anyone with kids, but I won't let them get in your way, like you won't have to be around them.
Hmm.
What the hell's wrong with you? It's like codependent personality disorders are the worst at this. Histrionic personality disorders. They don't have an identity outside of their partner. And it can be men too, but predominantly these are personality disorders that women statistically hold the upper hand in. And but to put your own children in the situation Like, she knew at that point that they moved out, she knew what he was. Still didn't care. It was my fault. Like, and I follow them. I still do. I still check up on where he's at. But they moved somewhere else with those two little kids. That little girl, literally a year younger than the child, his biological child, that he was caught raping.
I still don't
Make that make
understand how.
sense.
I still don't understand how he was allowed to be around kids. I don't know if that's just an Indiana thing, but usually anywhere else they wouldn't let that fly. That's beyond
No.
me.
Yeah, and that was a crazy time. When I called the police originally, I didn't know if they were married or not. I don't think that should matter. Like, if you're caught um incest or, anything to do with children, like, you shouldn't be having them. They shouldn't be living with you. You are a risk to their safety, their psyche, their everything. It's just, yeah. But Indiana, they really pissed me off with giving these child predators probation. It and then they always say, well, it's a he said, she said. Are you kidding me? Like, I get it that some women do that, vindictive. They're really easy to spot, though, because they don't give a fork about their kids. What they'll end up bringing is you're dating someone else. Like, they're easy to spot, and they're really easy for trained guardian ad litems
Mhm.
and forensic child psychologists, who there's a whole team there when a child comes in, usually through a guardian ad litem for the grooming issues that happen that parents do to their children. It's just sick. Like, there's so many people that should not be. They should just be sterilized. Like,
The problem is, right? The thing is that people don't want to. People lie, right? And there's always that one case where 1,000 times it might be justified, right? Where a person really did this, but then
mhm.
you have that one case where a person is falsely accused,
Yeah,
and the laws will be changed for that one case
yeah,
because people don't ever like to see an innocent person burn. But the harsh reality of it is, as long as you have people in this world, things are going to go wrong and things are going to be messy, and some
mhm.
people are going to lose, regardless if we like it or not.
Yeah. Life's
And you,
unfair.
yeah, and you can't change all the rules and the laws to make it easier, just because one or two people were falsely accused and got locked up in their time over the other thousands that are truly innocent. And then these laws get laxed, and you have things like this.
Mhm.
And then you also have these women or these men, but I got to put it on the women this time because women usually got to date the men, so that the man will be accused of these type of sex crimes, and then other women will still date him and have them around their kids
Yeah,
like it's nothing. That's
it's
weird.
insane. Early on in the like, I've been, I live here in Indiana. I've been following the Delphi case since they were missing. And early on, I found this. I mean, he had the clothes, like, he looked about the right height. It looked like a possibility, and he was a registered sex offender.
Hmm.
So I turned him in, and then, let's just be real. Especially when you've got a case where tens of thousands of tips are being turned in, like, they're probably not going to, see a desk for a minute, and it just, like, got to, like, really bothering me, like, that it seemed like she was the wife, and the kids that were hers, young kids that were hers, had moved in with him from California. So they moved to Indiana from California to be with this dude. And it just seemed like it would be one of those situations that she has no clue. So I decided to reach out to a cousin that I found that she seemed really close to, which was a terrible, terrible, terrible idea, because he immediately called her, got his whole family involved. Because when I sent him the pictures and the report of what this guy did, like, he got some time, and you don't get much time in Indiana. So I sent that to the cousin, and he immediately was like, what the hell? Do you know this? And he contacted her. Then she wanted to talk to me. And it was disgusting. It was literally like, well, you don't know him, and that situation was a one-time thing, and they were close to each other's age, and the parents of the girl were vindictive. And I'm like, have you read the report? Like, he was in his mid 30s. This was a child. This wasn't, there was a huge age gap, lady. And like, he was put away for 5 years, which doesn't sound like much, but in Indiana, it is. It's like he's lying to you about this case. And I mean, she was pissed. She didn't want to hear it. And then, like, the next day, uh, of course, I'm stalking their Facebooks, and he threatened to kill me. Like,
God damn, man.
yeah. And then later on, I found out he was in, it's called Soldiers of Odin. It's a really bad, um, you know, Norse mythology is not, you know, you can turn any religion into whatever your agenda is. And the Sons of Odin, Soldiers of Odin is what it is they've turned it into basically just a white nationalist, just hate group. You know, the leader of it started out in the KKK. He literally, you know, and then he was Vinlander, like all of these really Proud Boy, like you name it, he led it, and he's just a terrible person. I actually knew his wife. And that's how I know about Antifa, because they put out a threat on the salon because she worked there. And it was kind of scary there for a minute. But yeah, just a very, very bad group of men that he was known. So then I was like even more scared of like, holy crap. But
That's
yeah.
crazy. That goes hand to hand. It seems like a lot of those people who are in those type of groups have some sort of history with I don't want to say sexual assault, but I mean it just seems as a correlation a lot of times because they off and they might even be that way as far as being in a like being racist or anything, but a lot of times it can be an escape or it can cover up for what they really are because in those groups they accept people all types of degenerates. So why not? I mean, you can, you know, you don't give a damn about black people. You don't give a damn about white people either. But you can go in there and be this type of monster and everybody give a turn of a blind eye. And it's just weird to me.
Yeah. The leader of them, literally, well, now they're called something, they're called American Guard. Who knows if they're even called that anymore? But they literally, like, he's on every FBI watch list there is. He can't use PayPal. He can't use any Cash App, nothing. They've got him banned from everything. But he
That's
was on a radio show, and he was just openly bragging about a murder that he committed, and one of his underlings took the fall for it. Like, the dude's still in prison. Just a real bad group of people, you know. And a lot of them I found were centralized there in Delphi. So, you know, it's kind of like one of my projects I worked on for a while. But oh, there's another one. Sleuth, are you still here? You just talked about him. The suspect early on in the Delphi case, just a real Richardson. I can't remember, but his mom, like, it's the craziest case. But he abducted. I think she was like 9 years old, 7 or 9 years old. He abducts her. He brutally rapes her. He inserts things and he tries to kill her. She somehow ends up surviving this brutal attack. And he served a little bit of time and a little bit of probation. But in his plea deal, it was worked out that this man does not have to register as a sex offender.
I don't even know how that's possible.
Exactly. I've seen that in Alabama as well.
Mm.
There's a real bad dude in Alabama that same thing. 3 children, his own 2, and another one, and they all testified.
Does it feel
And
like what you're doing making a change with people, or open up their eyes, or you feel like sometimes that is just like climbing a hill?
yeah, it depends on the day, like there are silver linings, and I get emails, and I met people that that what I've had to say has helped, and like if I can help one person, then that's enough for me. But yeah, like just seeing the depravity of man, and the decline in morality across the country, we really need to do some reevaluating, and prioritizing, and figuring out like what the hell's going on. The family unit is just in shambles. It's like crisis, with the amount of parents that have no regard for their children's lives.
How do you
You
change
know,
that?
most of sex crimes are perpetuated. They're inside of the family,
Yeah, the
and
family member.
sex trafficking is also mostly done by family, like statistically anyway. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's just sick.
I think a lot of times these things are hidden, or happens because family members um hide it from the police and even from others
Mhm.
that can help.
Yeah,
So I know a lot of times in these, and me and Kyle talked about it before. It happens sometimes. You usually like to
thank you, bud.
blame things on race, but when you start talking to people, you come to find out that every race does this.
Mhm.
They might have an uncle that's a creep, but instead of them calling the cops, what they do is they'll just tell the kids, "Don't go around Uncle Jimmy." Or you might
Yeah, and
have
they're
a cousin
covering
that's
for
the
'em.
creep. Yeah,
Mhm.
instead of them turning them in, everybody just say keep the kids from around them. And then okay, that kid might be an adult. I mean, he's a child right now, but he's going to turn into an adult and become a monster, or continue to be a monster, and then he'll have
Yeah.
access to other children, and it's just a terrible thing.
Yeah, it is. And that's the worst when you tell a family member of something, that happens to you, and they don't believe you. It
Mhm.
is soul crushing. It really is, because what happened was so traumatic, and then you go to the people that are supposed to protect you, and they tell you that it was your fault, or
Yeah,
they tell you to
I've seen
keep
that a
quiet
lot.
about it.
I've seen that a
Um,
lot.
that I think,
Mm,
I mean, it's just my opinion, but that was more traumatizing than the incident in and of itself, you know?
mm. It
And
happened
it's,
in my family.
huh?
It happened in my family.
Yeah,
Yeah, it happened in my family,
same.
and when the child tells the parent, and the parent thinks the kid is lying, or say don't open up your mouth, especially with these young women,
Mhm.
and what they do is they start lashing out later on in life, because when we actually found out, it was years later. I want to say it had to be over 20 years later, because I was a child,
Yeah,
and it all came out, and the look on my dad's face when he had to find out this happened, man, it was like it messed him up, because as a father, and you find out something happens, or as a person you find out something happens to one of your family members, and you never knew, and I
yeah,
don't, and you couldn't protect them.
mhm,
It's kind of like something happens to you, and you don't want to be an asshole and take the focus off on the person that it happened to. But it doesn't
yeah,
just affect that person; it affects people around them that feel like they didn't protect this person a lot, and especially if it happens from somebody who's not even around anymore. So you can't even take your revenge out on that bastard.
yeah.
fucked
Yeah,
up.
and the cover-ups that the families will go to, and, like, I've seen it in person of just it's called, like, toxic family dynamics is a really good thing to look up if you're really just dumbfounded at why things are, like, not clear for everyone and why they rally around the bad person in your family. It really helps to kind of understand it. It still doesn't make it right, and where they literally villainize the person that is um, speaking out, or like, I don't want to be victimized anymore, and they villainize that person, and then at the same time they exalt the perpetrator.
Hmm.
It's ass backwards, and like that scapegoat is forever traumatized by not only what happened, but the way that their own family members reacted to what happened. Of just don't say anything, keep your mouth shut, smile and nod. And that's what I always say about like the I know I grew up a little probably more so like someone in the 60s, 70s instead of, predominantly in the 80s, but it was a suppression of feelings. Like you don't tell your dirty laundry. You don't put everything out there. Like family secrets are lock and key, and if you break that code, shoot, like whoopings galore. Um so it was a suppression of feelings, and then our society has definitely overcorrected to now all we are is a society of feelings based backwardsness. I mean, it's just, there has to be a middle ground between what was going on in the 50s, 60s, 70s to compared to now. Like you don't I mean there's just some things that, like, I try to be very open-minded and accepting, and but when things are perpetuated onto children, that's where I draw the line. You do what you want to do when you are a grown-ass adult, but you don't get to raise your children as babies. A baby. You don't, and these children that are allowed to, they're encouraged and allowed to identify as whatever the hell they want. It is bizarre. It's gonna create chaos and identity crisis. Like, uh, let alone if you really take the time to research medically what transgendering as a youth does to your body. I mean, just as a medical, nothing to do with politics, just simply the medical fallout from that. And then the schools trying to override parental rights. We're getting crazy now. We're getting crazy. A school that has to have a kitty litter box in the bathroom because they have a cat going to school there.
That story was crazy when you told me that.
It's happened a couple times too. I'm sorry, but I don't want my kid going to school with a kid that's going to piss in a cat box. Why don't we protect those kids? But I don't get it. And it's a super easy fix. Cats don't have cell phones, honey. Let me have it. No more cats in school. Just saying.
You think that'll fix it?
Cold truth, huh?
You think that'll fix it?
Hell yeah, it would. Kids
Really?
today are raised by their cell phones and computers and games. Parents they're checked out, except for when it comes to making sure that their kids, all their rights and, whatever they want to do and say and be for the day. Like, the children's brains are not capable. They are not mature. That happens around 25 years old. Like, we have all of these laws that are supposed to protect children, but yet we have all of these other ones that are completely contradictory to protecting children. Like, what is going on? It's crazy.
Yeah, I think this world is wacky. I still think a lot of these politicians are stone cold creeps and freaks. So that's why it's easier for them to make these laws, because I think a lot of them. This is my opinion, folks. I might be totally off, but it seems like it's easier for them to make these laws because it is what they are, so they don't mind it, and then they use it for cover up. Because a lot of these transgender laws are, you look at them like no normal sane person would do this. Well, yeah, they would if they're that type. They would make these laws passing this. And years for
Hmm.
years, people have been saying if you allow these certain things to happen, what it's going to do is usher in other things. Like it's going to usher in messing with children. But like that maps, not yeah, that map site
Mm,
that is open now, and they
yeah.
say, well, it's okay for a transgender man or woman to mess with a child because it's just all love. And people saw this coming years ago, but
Yeah.
everybody was like,
They've been trying to
no, it won't ever
normalize
go that far
pedophilia for quite
for
a
a
long time.
long time.
That's a
Yeah,
different topic, but yeah,
is it? I think it's the same thing. I really do. I think it's the same
I
thing.
don't think that like I the transgender is not synonymous with uh you know
Well, I'm not saying
child
that. I'm not saying
predatory.
that. What I said was a lot of these people use that as a cover. You get what I'm saying? So they'll join a movement for their own agenda. I'm not saying they're the
Yeah,
ones that's doing it. What I'm saying is they'll use a movement for their own cover to actually go to do what they want to do. So I'm not
yeah,
saying the transgender movement is that. I'm not saying that
yeah.
whatsoever. I don't give a fuck if you suck a pole or lick a tool. What I'm saying is a lot of times you can use something as a cover to slide in
Mm,
what you really want. Like they do with any bill. Think about it.
yeah.
The TikTok
Oh
ban
yeah.
bill had nothing to do with
100%.
TikTok. It had that something to do with them trying to control every aspect of your life when it comes to your digital accounts, your banking
Hmm.
information, and everything else. But they use that as a disguise for it. So
Yeah.
we just have to be careful when it comes to these things. You got to
And
be careful.
it I have, you know, I can't imagine if I woke up tomorrow and all of a sudden society is telling me that I'm a man
Mm,
and that I better act like one when I'm a woman. Like that. And I think that the people that truly do fit in that category, they're not out seeking attention. They're not the ones on the Bud Light can like that person. They're the ones that truly and when they're an adult, like do what you do. And what's really been upsetting for me is seeing the left, because a lot of social media is very far left, like extreme. And there's been a bunch of transgenders trying to talk sense into these parents, and they have been silenced.
of course.
And these are the people, like, this is a person that has gone through this, and you're going to silence what they have to say, and they're basically just saying, please think about it, like this is all what the fallout of what I have had to go through in my life, medically, socially, all of these things. And they're trying to warn their own community. One girl, she's badass, I love her, but she's over the pronoun stuff, and
Mm,
she's like, I'm not going to participate in it, and that's not my movement. Like, just that lumping that we see people doing. And my thing is like, um you can do what you want, but at the end of the day, like, I've had to bear all of the negativity and the positivity of being a woman. You have to give birth, you got to carry a baby, you got periods, you got what's the like menopause. You have all of these things, that and then to have someone that I mean, I no disrespect, but someone that was a man and now they look like a woman on the outside. Like, you don't represent me.
mm,
You don't try to represent me. And the thing that like I noticed was with the Maybelline and the other certain contracts and commercials and things that were being given to transgender women, uh those are jobs that are taking away from women. And women didn't say they didn't nobody can said anything about that. That wasn't an issue. It's okay, sorry, female models that didn't get the Maybelline contract. But when men don't do that though. Men don't just like, they don't keep their mouth shut. And that's what happened with the Bud Light. Like Chris Rock, like he literally shot up all of his, this is what I think of that. And so it's like the difference of, like, I don't know. I'm probably saying too much. I have transgender friends. I love them dearly, and they are nothing like these attention whores that we see on social media. You know,
Well, they feel the same way we do because they see what they went through, and it's a slap in the
yeah.
face. Say you were fighting something for your whole life,
Hmm.
and this is what your fight has been, but you see
Yeah.
creeps that's coming in and want to take over your movement
Yeah.
for their own sick ass agenda. I mean,
Hmm.
it's crazy.
100%. And I had a friend during the whole when pedophiles were they were trying to normalize that, and what was it they were trying to call them, like sexually attracted adults or like
You talking
something
about the
stupid.
maps? You talking about for the kids?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
man.
and
Minor
then
attracted persons.
yeah. What? And then they're trying to add themselves into the LGBTQ community. And I have like a lot of friends that more so I mean I have some gay guy friends, but I have
Ruckus,
more like gay female friends, and they were
ruckus.
pissed. They were
Yeah,
pissed
I got
because
ruckus. That's the only gay friend I got.
shit. But like they were upset by that was even a consideration to allow them to even identify with that community, because it's setting their community back
It's a
to
slap
a
in the face.
time when it is a slap in the face, because pedophiles, they are, that is a mental disorder. And they're like, so basically what you're doing is they're, by adding them to us and all of the progress that we have made, um you just set us back 30 years by doing that, like.
So since you think it's a mental order, right? This goes back to my main question I asked you earlier. And it's got to be some of the hypocrisy that all of us have, even myself. So when we call something a mental disorder, are we saying since it's a mental disorder, it's not their fault? Or can you still have a mental disorder and you still be in complete control over your faculties, I might as well say, and it still be your fault?
Say it again.
It's a mental disorder. Are we saying it's not their fault because they're mentally disabled?
I mean, I don't think you could say it's not their fault, like, especially in any kind of like ego dystonic, like,
But they were,
disorder, because they're all, you're aware, like a pedophile is aware of their attraction to children.
but what can he help it? Can he help it though, or she help it?
I'm I don't
I'm just
know.
asking the question.
Yeah, it's a good question. I think that, you know,
Mm.
self-control has just gone out the window the farther we get into, like like when you get into an all feeling society, of course you're going to have people acting on their proclivities. You know what I mean? And what adults do is completely different than what is perpetuated onto children. And that's where I draw the line. So SDS, people should be asking why serial killers are on the rise and are widespread in America, particularly.
I don't think they're on the rise.
Yeah.
I think you just hear about them more. They're
We're
not one of
catching
our.
them a lot sooner before they can become serial killers, and that's just statistics. And like the data is there to back that up because of technological advances.
I gotta disagree. What I think is they weren't labeling a lot of people as serial killers that really were. So the definition of a serial killer and a mass murderer can also be one and the same. Um, Slight variances, but it really is. So a lot of times they weren't labeling people as one. I mean, if you think about it. So, and also with technology now, you see a lot more. Um, they say overall, you hear some people say overall crime is down and murder is down and everything from the time from years, prior years.
Yeah, there was
But
like a serial killer 70s, 80s,
mhm,
even a little bit
yeah,
into the 90s, but really kicked off in the 70s, like mid 70s. But I still stand by the fact that, even the definition, like by the FBI, they've changed it to two instead of three.
yeah,
So they're identifying them based on the profiles that they're able to build off of all of the ones that they've interviewed. There's certain things that um, kind of set them apart from spree or mass or just a flat out murderer. I'm reading a really good book right now. It's called uh, The New Evil. Um,
ruckus. I know what the difference is between a serial killer and a mass murder, sir. I say it is just little variances. One just kills at one point, and the other one kills over a certain period of time. But say if you have a person that shoots up a block one day, kills a bunch of people, and is out, and then him and his homies go and shoot up another block and kill
yeah.
a bunch of people. Is that a serial killer? That's what I'm saying. Like it gets sticky. And a lot
Mhm.
of times they weren't labeling these people as one.
Yeah.
Or if a person never got caught and he does it. I mean, we got people in Philly, these guys that have done a bunch of mass shootings
Yeah.
and multiple of them. I mean, they're serial killers.
Yeah. Yeah. And, like Zodiac, everybody caught. I mean, there's a bunch. There's a really brutal serial killer in Ohio that was leaving torsos and body parts all over a little Ohio town right there, close to um, somewhere. I forget, but yeah, I like Bird Lady Speaks says on break. I have a mental disorder and I can control my impulses. I know that not all disorders are the same, but if they choose to not take meds and seek help, it's their fault. Yeah.
Okay. I can do that.
Yeah. And then I saw another one that was yeah. Social media makes us more aware, and other technology has advanced to enable a lot to be caught sooner, but there is also a greater population. That's true. Um,
Awareness is a great thing and also is a curse
yeah,
because when you're aware of something, you can look out for it. But also,
yeah,
blissful ignorance, sometimes it makes it easier for us to go about our day. And
yeah,
I think social media has killed that. And I think that's why a lot of these things are happening.
yeah, yeah. But I don't know how to send a book. Like, I guess I could send it through Amazon, but like this
Is it
book,
an
you
Apple book?
guys, it's called The New Evil, Understanding the Emergence of Modern Violent Crime. And it breaks what we've been talking about on here of all the different types of killers. It breaks them down into 23 different like categories, so to say, based
Mm.
on the crimes. And this book goes through so many different crimes that I've never heard some of the details about them, but it gives you such a vast understanding of like where we were, where we are, and where we're going. And it's just a phenomenal book. And it also goes into like the cultural changes that affect the patterns of violence, and and that's an important one to
Mhm.
understanding, and then school shooters, that's one that the only thing that like that's been my thing with um why my interest in this, when my aunt was murdered, it was an immediate like, but why did he do that? Like, why? I want to know why. Like, I know that there's, no answer good enough, but like, that's what I did. I'd go to the library and try to figure out like what, just hide in the psychology books, and the real crime books, and try to figure out why he did that. And like with this school shooters and stuff, I have taken out the most amount of like people, because you're on a suicide mission, like, but I think that these children are so coddled nowadays. They're so coddled. They're so entitled. They have helicopter parents that go around fixing all their problems for them. They're given participation trophies. They don't even like count home runs anymore for kids under the age of like 7 in sports. Like they don't have winners, they don't have losers. That's the whole point. And all of these kids are growing up in a society where they don't know that life's not fair. They don't know that they're not going to be liked every day of their life. They don't know that the simple thing of that, like when you teach your child, when you don't let them see that life's not fair, when they get a little older, guarantee you they are the majority of these shooters is these entitled brats that are being raised to think that they're being raised to be absolute narcissists, and when you have that mentality, you don't have any space for empathy for anyone else. And so I think that's why school shooters are on the rise. But that's just me.
So, do you think that bullying law hurt or help the schools?
Hurt.
Really?
Mhm.
Well,
I mean, that's harsh to say, but from raising 2 children and watching the effects that those types of laws had on within the school, it was another overcorrection to where bullying situations should be situational. There there was a kid in our and he was my daughter's best friend. Like they were kind of liked each other, and this kid, his parents were awesome. He was raised highly intelligent in every advanced program. He had scholarships. He had everything. He a black kid,
mhm.
and he was continuously bullied every day. Books thrown out, called all kinds of names, and he didn't want to lose his scholarships to college. He didn't want to be he's a good kid. He don't want to get in trouble with the school or anybody else. So he took it and he took it and he took it. And it was a group of boys that systematically did this to him. And and we know about it because they were close. And one day he'd had enough. They called him the N word one time too many, and he fought back. They had pushed him into a locker, threw all of his stuff on the floor, dumped his backpack out, called him the N word in the middle of a hallway with kids standing around taping it,
Fucking
and
idiots.
he fought back. The first time he fought back, and all of the 4 boys that were the perpetrators and him were all given the exact same consequence.
Did anybody stick up for the little boy? Did anybody stick up for him?
Nope. Not a kid, because if they get involved, they're going to get expelled too.
What about
That's
the
the
parents?
rule.
What about the parents in the schools?
The parents, they did. They tried to. It's just like, well, this is policy. If they're caught fighting and they put their hands on anyone, this is the repercussions of this. But the bad part is they beat this kid so bad in the head that he had to be a, a, they had to call an ambulance to come and get him.
They should have put all of them down. I'd have
Made
put
me
all of
sick.
them. I would have put all of them down.
And then like for him, I mean, this is a good kid. Like and for him, to risk, like he'd had enough. And now his future is in jeopardy. That's why I pulled my kid out of the Best Buddies program, because I know her, and she's been one that, like, you do whatever you want to me. Like, she let a girl stab her in the leg with a pencil and didn't react at all.
What kind of psychopath is that?
Yeah. Well, she stood up to her because she was picking on someone littler, and then she came over to her, stabbed her in the pencil, didn't tell me about it. But that was just her personality. But you mess with somebody that is weaker or that is smaller. She did. I mean, she literally clotheslined a girl flat on her back for picking on a girl that had it's like brittle bone disease and could barely walk. She tried to push her off a slide, the top of the slide.
Oh, fuck.
And my daughter saw it, and she took off running, and she just whacked that girl right in the throat, took her down to the ground. And that was before the dumb policy. So when they changed it, it was too much for her because she couldn't intervene. She couldn't do anything, and like, that's torment for somebody that can't stand to see other kids being hurt. And for her future and for her sanity, after they made that dumbass rule, I was like, I'm not going to allow you to do it. You're going to have to stop being a best buddy, which is sad. So those are some of the fallout from these anti-bullying laws. And just the fact that, man, people got to realize that, like, I get bullied all the time. I don't give a fuck. It does not affect my day whatsoever. Like, not at all. Like, people say ridiculous stuff to me all the time. Doesn't bother me at all. I don't like it when they pick on other people, though. That's when I go off.
The funny part about the bullying laws, it always protects the people who are doing the bullying, because with the story you told me, it didn't protect that kid whatsoever. Yeah. And instead of them using, that's the problem what I have about some of these laws. It's a blanket. They don't have any like common sense laws where it protects the ones. So instead of the teachers, if I was the parents of that kid, I would have sued the fuck out of the school system. Even if I didn't win, I would have brought awareness to it. And a lot of these organizations, I hate to do this blackety black talk, but a lot of these fucking organizations who's supposed to be here to help people aren't. They only use the biggest names to get their agenda across. That's why I always say people are full of shit. I always say that. Because if somebody ain't dying and you can march your black ass across that goddamn stage, they get $10 million for your own organization, therefore you, then you don't give a damn. I would have been the first one out there taking up for this kid, putting pressure on the school board's neck. But no, they don't do it because it's nothing that's going to get them paid. That's why I don't believe in none of them. I don't believe in the NAACP, the ACLU, who need to be disbarred and disbanded. I don't believe in none of these places because they're full of shit. They're full of it. Just stop it.
At the bottom line is, just like with gun laws, these kids, the bullies, the true bad apples in the school, they don't care about getting expelled. That's a badge of honor for them. They don't care. They don't have any future plans to go to college. They don't have scholarships that they're afraid to lose. They're not kids that want to obey the rules. They don't care about the rules. So now you've given them a like a go ahead. Because now, and literally, I've seen videos. It's so upsetting to see a child in a hallway. All they're doing is this to try to protect themselves, and they're getting pummeled. And then you'll see all these kids standing around, and they're looking at each other like, what can we do? Because if they intervene, they're out too. Now they're punished.
The problem is the
And teachers
parents.
can't even put their hands on kids anymore
Yeah, I used to.
to
I ain't give a damn.
separate them.
I ain't. I used to. I wouldn't give a shit. As a cop, I threw a kid out the window. I don't give a fuck. You act up. I shouldn't have said that, but it's the
Well,
truth.
just in the schools is
No, sir. No, ma'am.
yeah.
The problem is they don't hold these parents accountable,
Yeah.
and all this will stop with the parents. So even with the bullying, so say your child is acting the fuck up and continue to bully these other kids in school. Okay, you can't handle this. You can't take this. Like apparently you can't do anything about this, so we'll do it for you. You can. They got to stop doing this. You can't keep on putting things on the teachers or the parents. I mean, the teachers or these dumbass kids, because a lot of these parents just like you even said it yourself. You were active in your child's life. You knew everything that was going on with your child. And blissful ignorance. Once you have kids, all that goes away. You can't keep people can't keep on using this excuse of blaming everything for what they stupid ass kids do. That story we did on a little boy on last Tuesday, and when the mother was claiming that she didn't know that that dude on Twitter was grooming her son, and she blamed it on everybody else. I mean, that's an example of it. And even the whole freaking article I read, you never once heard her say, "You know what? I take responsibility because I should have did more."
No accountability.
None whatsoever
in America.
None, and it's weird, man. And it's weird. It's going to continue to happen. It's going to continue to happen.
It really is. And like, like Grandma Sherry says, we can't legislate morality. And you're right. Like
no, it's not for the legislate morality. What it is you need to just hold. You can have common sense laws that actually hold people accountable. You don't have to have that's why judges and that's what judges are for, to look at the case and weigh the case. You don't have to do that. They can develop common sense laws. I mean, it's not for me for your morality, but if it goes against what we as a group or a collective say, and is a special circumstance, then we can look at it. Schools used to do it all the time. I mean, I fought a kid at the end of the school year, maybe in my 10th grade year. He kept picking with me all year long, and of course, I didn't want to fight because I was kind of passive, even though I was a fighter. And at the end of the school year, we just got it in. The school system, look, my teacher said, "Well, listen, we know you." My dad was there because I told my dad I was going to do it. His ass was at that school at the end to make sure it was going to be a fair one. The teachers looked at the situation. The principal did. They didn't suspend me. They suspended the kid. So you can use common sense. You can weigh you can weigh it. It's not that hard. They just don't want to do it. It's laziness.
Yeah. And that's the thing about like grouping everything. Like you said about a judge, that is their job to to take a case and make a ruling on it based on the facts of that particular case. And anymore, it's just like everybody, I don't know. I just feel like we're living in an upside down and backwards time. And it really upset me when the school, like kids were getting so bullied and mocked and videotaped on Patriots Day, Red, White, and Blue Day, like proud to be an American Day, for wearing red, white, and blue to school, that they just got rid of it. Kids are wearing United States flags as capes, and other kids are trampling on it. That kind of shit will end America as we know it in another 20, 30 years, when those children that are being taught to be embarrassed of this great country are going to be what's left. Like when you're raised in a society like that are so just a bunch of sheeple. They have no idea what's really going on. They have no idea. Well, they don't read anything. They don't have a mind of their own. Just mindless. What is it called? Like, mass psychosis or something. It's just like people got to wake up before we're done for. And I'm so sick of like, I keep quiet. I try to stay out of like political stuff, religious stuff, but like I'm sick of it. I'm proud to be an American. Like I've seen and studied other countries. Like there isn't a country out there that is better than the United States, and we are not at our strongest. That says something, Teaching kids to be ashamed or to be like, ooh, I'm gonna, like if you wear, what's that one that's popular, like wearing a flag on your shirt. People are looking at like you committed a crime. Like, how dare you? It's crazy. It's not gonna lead anywhere good.
Well, the problem is that a lot of people are raising these social ass kids, and
Yeah.
and this is exactly what the outcome is going to be, because there's
Mhm.
no personal responsibility, no anything. It's all about how they feel and what they want. And but once again, if you live in these states, I hate to say it, Mel, because you get your ass out of Indiana, and you keep having these problems. At a certain point, you can't say you gotta get the fuck out of these states. And the same thing with me with Pennsylvania. I gotta get the fuck out of here. I gotta get out of Philly because everybody lost their goddamn mind here.
Yeah.
So it's on us. We gotta
I mean,
move
we do
somewhere
have
places
really
that fit
good
us.
Second Amendment laws here.
So does Florida.
Yeah. They always
Yeah.
move to Florida. Have you seen that podcast? It's hilarious.
Mhm. But
It's
they telling
about
them not to move. Thank God.
murders always move to Florida and like the crazy people. I have a
Oh, yeah.
subscription to newspapers.com. I mean, it goes back to like 1910s. I mean, it's awesome, like probably even farther. But like reading through those like decade by decade, I'll just take like like a city and go through through the decades of like how papers have changed and evolved and like what the culture was, because you can find that all with the reporting on different social issues and things. And yeah, like they're like you could type in like the weirdest things, like man puts body parts in a wheelbarrow, wheels it down a hill, and some drop out. Like sure enough, like there'll be a newspaper article from Florida with those details. It's hilarious.
You would be subscribed to something like that, wouldn't you?
Oh, I
Why
love
am
it.
I not surprised? Why am I not surprised?
Oh, that's the best. Those Live 360 and my newspapers.com subscriptions are well worth it. I love that. I get on there all the time. I found a bunch of Crosley Green old articles on there
You're
from
gonna
like
go
as it
crazy.
was happening.
You're gonna go crazy.
You think so?
Yes, man.
I'm gonna go crazy
Well, you're already there, but a little bit more to the left.
to the left.
Yeah, go crazy to the left. To the left, to the left, like Beyonce said. Come on now, stop doing this.
To the left, to the left.
Oh,
Yes,
that's
I
how
know
you
that
say it?
song. Yeah.
Did you sing it before? You ever sung it before?
No, I can't sing.
But you ever hummed the words or just saying it out loud
I
to
mean,
yourself?
I know the words. To the left, something else. I don't remember.
So you don't know the
Everybody
words.
everybody move to the left. I don't know. I don't know. When it comes
Can't
on, I can sing along, but I don't
everybody move to the left?
to the left, to the left. That's the only part that I remember.
I'm glad you remember that. That's the easiest part.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, you can remember all
What's
these
the rest?
serial killers. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
I'm not a woman. I don't
Yeah,
know
I'm
that
just
song.
like not I don't you know, I like to listen to music at certain points in my mental status,
What do you
but
do to
I
take
don't
breaks?
give a flying fork about um who sings the song. I don't know anything about those people. I don't care about their life. I don't care about the actors. Like, I like you in this movie, but I don't give a fork what you do with your life. I don't care if you had 12 babies with this man and now, all this bullshit hard out. Who cares?
What do you do to take a
Pisses
break?
me off when that stuff's on trivia because it's
Uh,
trivial.
Stop
Like,
listening to trivia. What do you do to
I
take a
love
break from
trivia.
all this craziness? What do you do? Because you
I
can't.
read. I read.
Yeah, you read murder books.
True.
What do you do to
What do
get
I
you? Because you
do?
can't do this. This is how cops get burnt out. I'm just telling you from experience.
I
So what do
hang
you
out
do?
with my family. Like I go over to my mom and dad's and we play card games. And I go over to my brother's. He's my best friend, and we hang out and chill and don't talk about any of this stuff. Nobody in my immediate life cares anything about true crime. So other than online and what I read, it is not a part of my daily interactions with the people, my immediate family.
Yeah, because I'm telling you from experience, when you don't take a mental break from all this crap,
Yeah.
it can overwhelm you. You'll be seeing shadows everywhere,
Mhm.
even
For
at
me,
night.
it's been, and I feel so guilty, um, talking to the victims' families and growing close with them, and
Bad fucking idea.
having so many now that because I never wanted to be, like, oh, I'm just going to do this episode and then, no, not going to help you anymore. But it can get really hard on your heart. Like you got to
Yeah,
be,
that's
you
a
got to take
terrible idea.
breaks. And like you were saying the other day, it hit home so much because my phone blows up. Like people, and they don't know that they're the 12th call that I've received in a day, and I just get to the point I can't answer. Like I can't greeno anymore. Like I can't help anyone anymore. I don't have any reserve, and I shut down. And I don't feel bad about it anymore.
No.
And it's but people don't care though. Like not all people. Some people definitely care, but the majority of people, when you don't do um, what you've been doing for them, then like, it, but you just I learned that a few years ago. Like, you just can't care. You just have to get to a point where, for your own sanity, you have to put yourself first.
I wish you treated it like a business. And I know that sounds harsh, and I told you this before. You can't have any personal investment if you're going to do these type of things. You
Yeah.
can't. You cannot. I told you this. I told Des this. You can't, because you're
Hmm.
going to drive yourself crazy. And I wish to God, you see how me
Yeah.
and Ruckus act. We don't take it personal. We look at it like a business. It sounds fucked up, but
No, I hear you.
you cannot be these victims, families, friends. You cannot. You got to stop that. You got to
Wow.
stop that, Mel.
They're
You
for
got
life.
no,
But
no.
I'm very, so I don't take on many families. I don't have reserves for that because all of the cases that I am close with the families, they're still being adjudicated so they're not over. But my thing is when I decided to do this, it was my saving grace. I was in a really bad place, and my daughter was being diagnosed, and when you find out you have a higher potential to outlive your child because of the disorders that they have. My way of coping was to pour all of my energy into solving that problem, of to figuring out. I mean, I literally went wild. Like, I taught myself human genetics. I taught myself how to create my own templates and do studies on, long arms, short arms, the SMPs. I taught myself how to read, uh, you know, any kind of radiograph, I can read it. Any, like anything in the medical field that had to pertain to her, I attacked it, and I stopped treating her like my child. And one day she came to me, and I didn't even know she spoke. Like, I didn't even hear her. She just wanted to tell me something, but I was researching. And the man said, he he stopped me and was like, your daughter just came out here, wanted to talk to you, and you didn't even hear her say anything. And then she walked to her room with her head down, and you didn't see that either. She's your child. Stop trying to fix her. She's perfect. And that was like, damn, I am treating her like a medical puzzle that I have to fix. And that's not my job. I'm her
Yeah,
mom.
because at a certain point, it stop. When I say treat it like a business, this is the reason why I say that. When you start taking things personal, it stop being about them and it starts becoming about you. And
Yeah.
it's so easy to do that if you're not careful. The reason why cops and detectives or investigators do um, do the things the way we do it is because we can't afford to take this case personal because honestly, you're not the only dead body out there. Your family member isn't.
Yeah.
And if we don't treat each one equally, it's not nobody will get nothing will get done.
Yeah.
Nothing.
I get it what you're saying, but for me personally, I couldn't have, because of what was going on with her, it still does. I couldn't have idle time. So this has always been a passion of mine, something that, obviously I didn't do it to this extent. I didn't have a podcast, I didn't have a YouTube, but like, so me pouring my research and my, into true crime, and then I got to become my daughter's mother again,
Mm.
instead of her medical, journal. And so for me, it was a move in a healthy direction. And I've had to redirect myself quite often, but to be completely detached, I don't think that would be healthy for me either. Not for me personally.
Well, I'm not telling you the 100. I'm saying it wrong. And chaotic. I see what you're saying, chaotic, but you don't. It's different. I mean, if Ruckus is up there, maybe he can be more eloquent with it than I am because I'm more blunt. But I'm not telling you be detached. What I'm telling you is people will unwillingly drain your energy. They will take it and they will take it and they will take it to the point where you're not useful to anybody.
Yeah.
I had a mental breakdown before.
Yeah. They're
I had
called
a
succubuses.
yeah, but not even trying. And I had a mental breakdown before on the job. Imagine
Yeah.
you being a cop with a gun and having a mental breakdown. And I had
Mm,
to learn to detach myself because if you're not good, say you give one person everything and then that person drains you,
yeah.
what can you do for the next family?
Nothing.
You got to look at it
Yeah.
like that. You got to look at it like that. You got to take care of you first.
Yeah. Yeah.
People don't want
And
to hear it.
it's been a
It
learning
sucks.
curve.
Hmm.
It's a definitely a learning curve, and I've had to learn the hard way over the last few years.
You know the
And a
coldest
lot of
people in
times
the
of
world.
like what you don't really realize how deeply something affects you until later. Like,
You want to know the coldest people in the world, the people with ice hearts and veins. You want to know who they are? Doctors,
yeah,
surgeons.
yeah, I know.
Motherfuckers are heartless.
They have to be.
Heartless. Heartless. Going there. It's all about getting the
Uh-huh.
job done. It's not even about the person. It's about making sure the job is done right.
Yeah.
That's why they can save so many people.
Mhm.
It's all about that.
Yeah, I've had many like early on I was in these groups for Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, and like my daughter's doctors, I don't care about their personality one bit. Like, it's weird that pediatricians have zero bedside manner, but I'll take a zero bedside manner that is going to keep my daughter in the best health that she possibly can over someone that's just like, "Oh, how are you? Well, what do you want today?" You
And
know, like,
hands
I
shaking
don't
and
care.
shit.
I do
Mhm.
not care that and then I was seeing all these parents of like, "Well, I took my child to this specialist at like literally the top of the field, especially in connective tissue, and they don't want to go back because they didn't like the personality of the doctors." It's like, you got this all backwards. Like, you it's a conveyor belt in those I mean, my daughter had 12 specialists at one time that have all, different 2 different hospitals. Like, I've seen it all. Like, I don't care. They could be as far removed as they need to be to take care of my daughter.
That's how I am. That's how I look at politics. To be honest with you,
Oh,
I don't give a
yeah,
fuck. I don't
same.
give a fuck about what you say because a lot of people lie.
Mhm.
A lot of people lie. You
Yeah,
can't play these games with people, man. You got
you
to worry
can't
about
trust them.
yourself because people look
Yeah.
at you and they say, "Well, Mel has a good heart." And guess what? And like I went on my rant, I said people will take and take and take, and a lot of times they don't even mean it. Some do, but I don't. And to the point where they stop caring about what you can go through. And next thing you know, who you going to go to if everybody else relying on you?
Yeah.
I mean, I wish people in this field, man, who genuinely want to help, take my
Mhm.
advice because I've been there. I had a mental breakdown, and one of my supervisors, he called me, man. He said, "Yo, go
Yeah.
home, go home." I couldn't do it, and that's the only reason why I could survive getting shot at so many times.
Yeah.
I had to. I had to learn, and when I did that, I saved more people than I ever did before.
Really.
Yeah, because I detached myself. Because
Yeah.
then I'd be able to help more people instead of just worrying about one person. Yeah, families will get pissed off because they're not reaching you every 2 minutes. But how is that fair to the next family? Can't do it. You just can't
Yeah.
do it, man.
Yeah, you're right. And you know, I think I'm slowly starting to see that and
Look at what Carol
that book
said.
I always talk about, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fork. It's
Mhm.
it's fuck, but um just reading that, 8-minute article explain, like that's really what I try to do. And it can get tough, but such is life, and you have to be able to deal with things, and you have to be able to not give a fuck if someone gets mad at you because you didn't answer their call. Like, oh
Mhm.
well, I don't care, and those are the things that I've been able to let go of, and they have helped me tremendously.
I'm
And
telling
the
you.
good people, like Chaotic, like her Hoosier, Lake, and Crimezilla, they have been through it with me. And like when you have a core group that you can turn to, and they've been with me during some of the darkest hours that I've had, in my just in life, and Ivy too. And like having those close friends to help you to like realize like what you're doing with me right now, like you have no idea how much that helped yesterday when you were talking about those things, and Mayo was talking about those things. And because those are the conversations that make differences in people's lives. They let them know they're not alone. And how your experience and what you've gone through has led you to that point of you're not a um closed off, callous man. You're simply protecting, yourself so that you can be as effective in this world as possible. And it's a give and take,
I mean, you gotta learn it. I mean, once again, having a nervous breakdown, people, and getting to your edge, it's not a good thing. It really isn't. And then you're not helping. And then one thing about it is everybody that took from you when it's time for you to be able to take from them, they're nowhere to be found.
Nope.
You want to talk about feeling betrayed? Holy smokes. And then you start looking at people like people were looking at me right now who think I owe them something. They
Yep.
feel like everybody betrayed them. And
Been there, done that.
the whole fucking
It's the
time, you like,
times.
what? It's weird, man. Well, I'm
No.
about to go, man. I got to get on Ruckus podcast.
Yep.
But
I
if
gotta go
y'all want to,
too.
If y'all want to check me out, just go to my channel. I discuss everything. Not all. I got a hell of a perspective if you don't know me, but
I
more on drop
will
my link.
drop your link, and I'll also add you to the
No, don't do it
description.
now. Don't do it now. You ain't do it when I first got here. Don't try to be my friend now.
Are you talking about me?
Yes, ma'am. You the only one here.
I'm putting your show that you got going on tonight, excessive or justified. I'm copying it, and I'm
Man,
gonna paste it in this live right now.
it's gonna be a good one. It's gonna get me in trouble with the cops. I
And
got a feeling.
then, so go sub so you can be there for this. And then they are going to be on Ruckus Rocks podcast pretty soon, right?
Yeah, but I gotta be a members only. So y'all need to go over there now and become a member of the Ruckus show.
I'm
My,
not a member.
you better go do it now, man. Me and Ruckus,
Well, how much are they?
damn Mel, you a hairdresser, you cheap fuck.
Listen, I just had to spend $500 on glasses.
That you told me
And
you wasn't gonna
then
go. You said I'm
I
not
have
gonna
to pay.
go.
I had to go. I was trying to be a good. And then I have to pay another $600 for life insurance. It's up. Like I don't got it right now.
Well,
Um,
go shake your booty in a strip club. I've been told you this. You can get all the money you
fuck
can.
no.
All
No,
the
thank
money you want. Just twirl on the pole a couple times. You'll be all right. Get
I
a
don't.
sugar daddy. You got a sugar
No,
daddy. Get a man 90 years old. He ain't gonna, what he
I'm
gonna, first of
good.
all, he can't touch you. He
I'll
gonna, if
tell
he,
you what. Like I got burnt in the dating bed this time.
you
I
spend the
am
money on tan.
tomato.
Are you
Huh?
doing it for Mexico? You doing it getting
Mhm.
tan to Mexico? Look at you.
Yeah.
You might meet an old sugar daddy there. I ain't gonna lie. I might listen.
I don't need a sugar daddy. I'm
I might
good.
go to. I might meet you in
I'm
Mexico.
covered.
I might go to Xcaret just to fuck with you there. You know what I mean? Put some tequila in your hand. Let's see how this go.
Oh, it's gonna be. I'm just like the girls. I'm like, listen, like you could drink there, but I ain't taking care of you. Like we'll have to take care of
No,
each other because I'm having a good time.
them
I'm getting
margaritas
my
hitting.
money's worth.
That margarita's hitting. They bring them right to you. They use the best
I hope they
tequila
have
too.
Tito's there.
They do, but the
I have
Patron is
to go
better.
through a draw. Yeah,
No,
but I looked on the website. Half the shit's closed because of stupid pandemic again.
in Mexico.
Yeah, that's correct. Like the
Wow,
bars closed. 3 or 4 of the restaurants are closed.
it's still 50 of them there. You'll have a good time. I promise you.
I know it's just bullshit. Like, come on, are
It's
we over this?
beautiful, man. You're gonna love it.
I can't wait.
You gotta send me the pictures when you go.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I'll probably try to go live a little bit on my birthday.
Yeah, trust me, all the free liquor. I'm going back next year.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
it looks
taking
like
it.
an awesome place.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a girl with me this time. See how that works.
Yeah.
Yeah, if she don't give me none, I'm gonna leave her ass in Mexico.
Like, do you know this girl ahead of time? Like a girlfriend?
I'll tell you about. Well, what the fuck are you doing? What are you doing?
Do you
What are
have a
you doing? What are you doing? What is the point of this guy? Bye, Mel. You doing too much.
But you brought it up. You're gonna
Mel,
take
I
a
never said
girl.
that. I never. What, Mel?
What are you gonna do? Just pick one randomly? Like go to a strip club?
Mel, I
Like,
gotta
hey,
go.
you look
I gotta
good.
go. Mel, I
Let's go
gotta
to
go.
Mexico.
Hey, everybody. Catch me. I'm on 2 more shows after this. Mel talking too much as usual. If you haven't heard Mel call me a nagger, go to my
Oh
clip.
my God. Asshole.
What? What?
No, I mean you did. You got me good. Like that was a good one.
Hey, so if y'all haven't seen that, just go ahead and go to my page. You'll see Mel
Go
calls
check
me a
out his
nagger.
shorts.
Yeah, Mel calls me a nagger.
Go ahead and spread them.
Yeah, I'm not spreading nothing. It's just what it happened. It's nothing here. It's
Well, I
nothing.
didn't mean it dirty. I just meant like share them. Okay.
And then she also said she liked to get facials and I like to beat it up. I was like, wait a minute. Mel said she like her face beat up. I don't know what's going on over here, chaotic. Your homie is tripping. Yeah, so I got all Mels. It's called Only
He
Mel.
knows.
I got Only Mel shorts. I got a bunch of more lined up.
I'm
like
just
you doing
glad that
today.
Chaotic doesn't take videos of me when I'm over at her house having a good time because those would be
You took the video
those
down.
would be some shorts.
You took the
I
video
didn't take it
down.
down.
Okay. Is
I
up there?
didn't take it down. You just got to be a member to watch it.
I'll remember. I'm clipping the shit out of that. Kidding me? Mel is nasty, folks. Don't let
No,
this. Don't let
she's not.
Mel
She
is
is an
nasty.
innocent, naive.
Okay. People don't hear our
Come
call.
on.
People don't
I
hear our
don't know
phone
what
call.
half the stuff is y'all talk about when it comes to perversions.
Okay, I give you that. Whatever.
I don't.
Yeah.
Do
Okay.
that yourself, Mel. You did a whole home tour. I did. I was hammered, and I just like went live on my phone and just showed all these people her house.
Jesus
I
Christ.
feel bad. I am sorry that I did that. That was not okay.
Whatever. We'll see you in Mexico. All right, everybody.
All right.
Bye. I gotta get something to
Bye,
eat.
everyone. Thanks for being here.